Dr. Gabriel Sanders moved heavily through the corridor of St. Mary's General Hospital in Chicago. For 9 years, he had served as a cancer specialist, yet the weight of responsibility never grew lighter. At 30, he was regarded as one of the finest oncologists in the country. Tall, poised, with deep eyes that seemed to pierce through to a person's true condition, he carried an air of quiet authority. "Dr. Sanders, your new patient is in room 307, the head nurse informed him. Gabriel nodded and picked up the medical chart. He read the name. Michelle Reynolds, 32 years old, stage 3 breast cancer. He sighed deeply. Another challenging case, another fight for life. He knocked on the door and entered. A frail woman sat on the bed, her curly hair loosely falling, thinned by chemotherapy. Despite her pale condition, Michelle's former beauty was still evident. "Good morning, Mrs. Reynolds," he greeted. "I'm Dr. Sanders, and I'll be leading your treatment." He introduced himself with a warm smile. Michelle looked up, her eyes soft, but still sparkling with resilience. "Just Michelle, doctor. My husband left me when he found out I had cancer," she said, forcing a brave front. Gabriel paused. He had heard countless stories of families torn apart by illness, yet each one still weighed heavily on his chest. "I'm sorry, Michelle," he said, sitting beside the bed. "Let's review your test results and discuss your treatment plan." As Gabriel explained the cancer and possible treatments, he noticed Michelle listening intently, asking sharp questions with a determination to fight. Unlike some patients who succumbed to fear, she was different. "Is there still a chance I could recover, Doc?" she asked directly, unafraid. Gabriel met her gaze. "I won't promise the impossible, Michelle. Stage 3 breast cancer is serious, but many have overcome this condition. What matters is your determination to fight." "I have nowhere else to go, Doctor Sanders," she replied. "My husband left me with our 7-year-old daughter, Emma. He said he didn't want to suffer caring for someone who's just going to die." Gabriel's blood boiled, but he kept his composure. "Michelle, it's not my place to judge others, but I assure you, I'll do everything to help you recover. You don't have to face this alone." A flicker of hope crossed Michelle's face. "Thank you, Doc. That's all I needed to hear." In that first meeting, Dr. Gabriel Sanders didn't yet know this woman would change his life. He didn't realize that in trusting and caring for her wounded heart, he would find his own path to healing. "We'll start treatment tomorrow. You need to rest," he said, preparing to leave. "Doc," Michelle called softly, "can I bring my daughter next time?" "It's hard leaving her with neighbors." Gabriel smiled. "Of course, I'd love to meet her." In that moment, a fragile connection formed between doctor and patient, a bond they didn't know would deepen in the days ahead. As Gabriel left the room, he glanced at Michelle's chart. For the first time in years, he prayed, not as a doctor, but as a man touched by the story of a resilient woman. 5 weeks into Michelle's treatment, she arrived every Monday and Wednesday for chemotherapy, always with Emma. Despite his busy schedule, Gabriel made time to personally monitor her progress. "How are you feeling today?" he asked, checking her vital signs. "Exhausted," Michelle admitted, glancing at Emma coloring in a corner of the room. "If it weren't for her, I might have given up." "That's normal," Gabriel reassured her. "Chemotherapy is tough, but your blood work shows improvement. Your body's fighting." Michelle gave a small smile, a small victory. "Maybe because I have a good doctor." Gabriel chuckled, the fatigue in his eyes easing. "I'm not the one fighting here, Michelle. You are." He felt a unique strength in her presence. Behind his professional demeanor, he couldn't help but admire her courage, her smile despite the pain, and her love for Emma, who was polite and bright. "Emma, come here," Gabriel called. "Want to see my stethoscope?" Emma ran over, eyes gleaming with excitement. Can I listen to Mama's heartbeat? Of course, Gabriel said, handing her the stethoscope and guiding her. As Emma listened to her mother's heart, Gabriel noticed tears in Michelle's eyes. You okay? He whispered. She nodded, wiping her tears. I'm just grateful we met you, Dr. Sanders. I don't know how I'd face this without you. Something stirred in Gabriel, a feeling he hadn't felt for other patients. He knew he should stay professional, but he couldn't stop himself from caring more than required. Michelle, I'd like to try a new protocol, he said after her checkup. It's more aggressive, but I've seen promising results in others. Side effects? She asked. More fatigue, possible hair loss and discomfort, but if successful, it could reduce the tumor size. They locked eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. I trust you, Gabriel, she said, using his first name for the first time. He paused but didn't object. I'll do my best, Michelle. That's a promise. After Michelle and Emma left, Gabriel sat at his desk, staring at her file. He was determined to save her, not just as a doctor, but as a man becoming part of her life. In a strange twist of fate, the doctor once focused solely on his profession felt a shift. He didn't know what it was or how to face it, but he longed to see the day Michelle would be free from illness and fear. That night, before sleeping, he found himself praying again for a resilient woman, a loving mother, and a heart unbroken by life. Why did you become a doctor? Michelle asked one afternoon, as Gabriel set up her IV for chemotherapy. The room was quiet. Emma was at school. Over the weeks, their conversations during her treatments had become routine. Gabriel smiled and sat beside her bed. When I was a kid, my mum died of leukemia. I was 10. I still remember her strength, but also how she slowly faded. I vowed to do everything to prevent others from experiencing that loss. Michelle listened, her eyes fixed on Gabriel's as he shared his past. You were a good son, she whispered. It wasn't easy, he continued. After she passed, I became rebellious, nearly ruined my life with anger. But my dad, who's still living alone, never gave up on me. How did you find your way back? My dad gave me a book about cancer survivors. I read it over and over, and it hit me. I wanted to be part of their stories, their fight, their hope. Michelle nodded, understanding the depth of his story. I used to teach American literature at a community college before I got sick, she said. I believe in the power of stories to change how we see life. What kind of literature? Gabriel asked. American novels, poetry, essays, Michelle smiled. I believe stories help us understand ourselves as individuals with dreams and fears. Gabriel saw a light in Michelle's eyes, undimmed by illness or fear. Despite her condition, her mind was alive, her perspective sharp. Why did you and your husband split? He asked, then immediately regretted it. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. It's okay, Michelle said, taking a deep breath. Derek, my ex-husband, was a marketing executive. We met in college and I thought he was my forever. We married after graduation, and things were good at first. She paused, gathering strength. But he changed when he got promoted. He became distant, always busy. When we found out I was pregnant with Emma, I thought he'd come back to us. But he kept drifting. I once caught him with another woman, but I forgave him for Emma's sake. Gabriel listened silently, letting her release the pain. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I thought he'd support me. Instead, he said he couldn't watch me die, that he didn't want to suffer caring for someone sick. One night after my first chemo session, I came home to find him gone, leaving just a note and some money. Michelle looked down, tears falling. The worst part, he told Emma he left because I was a burden. Gabriel took her hand, not as a doctor, but as a friend. I'm so sorry, Michelle. You don't have to worry about him anymore. I know it's hard, but I see the pain in Emma's eyes. She doesn't understand why her dad left us when we needed him most." In that moment, Gabriel felt a surge of anger toward the man who abandoned Michelle in her darkest hour, but also deep admiration for her strength, not for herself, but for her daughter. "You know, Michelle," he said, still holding her hand, "Emma has an incredible mother. Despite everything you're going through, you're fighting with courage. That's the greatest lesson you can teach her." Their eyes met, and for the first time, a spark passed between them, a connection beyond doctor and patient. "Thank you, Gabriel," Michelle whispered. For the first time, Gabriel felt this was more than a job. Something shifted in his heart and mind. He knew it was dangerous, that he should stop it, but with every smile and act of courage from Michelle, it seemed impossible not to fall for her. 3 months into Michelle's treatment, her test results showed slight progress. The tumor had shrunk marginally, and her vital signs were more stable. In the world of cancer treatment, Gabriel knew every victory was to be celebrated cautiously. "Michelle, this is great news," he said, showing her the latest scan results. "Your body's responding to the treatment. It's not a complete victory yet, but it's a big step." Michelle's smile was like sunlight breaking into the sterile room. "Really, Gabriel? Is there real hope?" "Yes, there's significant hope. If this trend continues, we might consider surgery in the next 2 months to remove the remaining tumor." Michelle hugged him impulsively, overcome with joy. They both froze, feeling the warmth of the embrace, then gently pulled apart. "Sorry," Michelle whispered, her cheeks flushed. "It's okay," Gabriel replied, hiding his own unease at the emotions stirring within him. "It's natural to be excited. We should celebrate this." Over the months, their relationship had grown beyond doctor and patient. Gabriel visited Michelle even on non-treatment days, bringing books for her and toys for Emma. They talked about literature, philosophy, and dreams. As her recovery seemed closer, Gabriel's confusion intensified. He knew he shouldn't be emotionally attached to a patient, especially one as vulnerable as Michelle. Yet, with each passing day, denying his growing attraction became harder. One night, after a long day at the hospital, Gabriel returned to his Chicago penthouse. It was quiet and pristine, reflecting his organized life, but tonight it felt lonely. He opened a bottle of wine and sat on the balcony, gazing at the city lights. He thought of Michelle's courage, her kindness, her laughter despite pain. "What are you doing to yourself, Gabriel?" he muttered, knowing he was entering dangerous territory. His phone rang, Dr. Eleanor Carter, his colleague and former girlfriend. "Gabriel, you okay?" she asked. "You seem off." "Just tired," he replied, unwilling to share his true concerns. "I've noticed you're often in Mrs. Reynolds's room, even off hours," Eleanor said, her voice tinged with worry. "You know the risks, right?" "I know, Elena. It's professional," he insisted. "Are you sure?" "I see how you look at her, Gabriel. It's more than being a doctor." He fell silent, unsure how to respond. "Listen," Elena continued. "I'm not saying it's wrong to care, but be careful. Her emotional state is fragile." "I know she's vulnerable," Gabriel said, "but Michelle's strong, not someone who falls for false hope." "I'm not saying that," Elena replied. "Just watch the line you're crossing." After the call, Gabriel sat, more confused than ever, torn between his professional duty and personal feelings. The next day, he ran into Michelle and Emma in the hospital lobby, both smiling, lighter than usual. "Doctor! Gabriel!" Emma shouted, running to hug him. "Easy, Emma," Michelle said, smiling. "Doc's busy." "Never too busy for you two," Gabriel replied. "How are you feeling, Michelle?" "Better," she said. "I'm starting to feel my strength return." He saw color returning to her cheeks, life in her eyes. In that moment, he decided to suppress his growing feelings, for her sake, his professionalism, and their future. One hot afternoon, Gabriel received a call from Michelle, her voice trembling. "Gabriel, he's here. Derek's back." His heart sank. "Where are you? Are you okay?" "At home. Emma just got back from school. Derek's outside, asking to talk." "What does he want?" "He heard I'm improving and wants to come back. Says he made a mistake." Her voice was laced with confusion. Gabriel paused, unsure of his role. "Michelle, the decision is yours, but be cautious. Some people return not because they've changed, but because the situation has." "I know," she whispered, "but Emma misses her dad. She gets so excited around men. How can I deny her a chance at a complete family?" Gabriel's heart ached, knowing Emma deserved that chance, yet fearing for Michelle. "Can I come by after my shift? Not to influence you, but to check on you and Emma." "Thanks, Gabriel, but I need to face this alone." After the call, Gabriel couldn't focus. Hours later, he decided to visit Michelle's small Chicago apartment, not as a doctor or suitor, but as a concerned friend. A luxury car was parked outside. Derek Reynolds, Michelle's ex-husband, answered the door. "Who are you?" Derek asked, confused. "Doctor Sanders, Michelle's oncologist," Gabriel replied, hiding his emotions. Derek stepped aside. "Come in, we're discussing our situation." Inside, Michelle sat on the couch, exhausted from crying. Emma was asleep. "Gabriel," Michelle whispered, surprised, "I didn't think you'd come." "I was worried," he said, sitting across from her. "How are you?" "Tired. A lot happened," Derek interjected, sitting beside Michelle, his arm around her. "I can take care of my wife now, Doc. I messed up before, but I'm ready to step up." Gabriel looked at Michelle, reading her conflicted expression. Hope for a reunited family, yet doubt. "Michelle, as your doctor, I must remind you to avoid stress. It can affect your recovery." "I understand, Doc," Derek said firmly, "but I'll handle my wife from now on. Thanks for your help." Tension rose, but Gabriel stayed calm. "Michelle, if you need me, I'm here," he said, looking into her eyes. "Thank you, Gabriel," she replied softly. At the door, away from Derek, Michelle whispered, "Sorry for the trouble. I didn't tell him how good you've been to us. He might not understand." "You don't need to explain," Gabriel said. "This is your family. If it makes you and Emma happy, I support you." As he left, a heaviness settled in his chest, worry for Michelle and pain at the thought of losing her. 2 weeks later, Michelle seemed quieter during checkups, often coming alone, leaving Emma with Derek. "How are you feeling?" Gabriel asked, reviewing her test results. "Okay, just tired," she said, avoiding his eyes. "Your results are stable, not worsening, but not improving significantly." She nodded, lost in thought. "Michelle, is something wrong? You seem troubled." She hesitated, then looked at him, tears welling. "I don't know if I made the right choice, Gabriel. Derek's back, but I'm not sure he's changed." "What do you mean?" "He's good to Emma, gifts, outings. But with me, he keeps mentioning how hard it was for him when I was sick, like I owe him for coming back." Gabriel's anger flared, but he stayed calm. "Michelle, you don't owe anyone who abandoned you in your time of need." "I know, but Emma's so happy. How can I take her father away again?" "Michelle, as your doctor, stress affects your recovery. As your friend, I want you happy. Listen to your heart. What's right for you and Emma long term?" "What if I made a mistake? What if this is our last chance for a family?" "Family isn't just presence. It's love, respect, and being there in need. You're the best example of that for Emma." She squeezed his hand. Thank you for listening, Gabriel. I don't know how I'd face this without you. That night, Dr. Eleanor Carter visited Gabriel's office. I heard Mrs. Reynolds's husband is back, she said. How are you? I'm just her doctor, Eleanor, he replied, avoiding her gaze. Gabriel, I see how you look at her. You can't hide it. He sighed. I don't know what to do. I'm worried for her. That man doesn't deserve her. And do you? Eleanor asked gently. I just want her safe and happy. Be careful, Gabriel. Her emotional state is at stake, not just your career. That night, Gabriel couldn't sleep, haunted by Michelle's tears. At midnight, his phone rang. Gabriel, can we talk now? Michelle's voice trembled. He left again. He got mad after our last consult, accused us of an affair and took his things. Where are you? Is Emma okay? At home. Emma's asleep. She doesn't know he left again. I'm coming over. 30 minutes later, Gabriel found Michelle on the apartment steps, wrapped in a blanket, eyes red from crying. He called me damaged goods, she said, staring into the distance. Said he only came back out of pity for Emma. You don't deserve that, Michelle, Gabriel said, suppressing his anger. Why is he like this? What did I do? Nothing, Michelle. Some people can't face life's realities. They run because it's easier. She looked at him, searching for meaning. I thought he'd love me despite everything. Now I don't know how to trust again. Not everyone's like him. Some will see your beauty through the trials. Their eyes met, barriers falling, professional lines, regulations, doubts. Gabriel, she whispered, I'm scared to admit how I feel for you. Scared it's just gratitude or desperation. He took her hand. I'm not rushing you. I'm here, not just as your doctor, but as someone ready to listen, support, and love you. Love me? She asked, eyes full of hope and fear. Yes, Michelle, ready to love you, no matter what. In the cold night on those steps, two tested souls found hope in each other. The next morning, Michelle arrived for her checkup with a new determination in her eyes. Good morning, she greeted Gabriel, who was reviewing charts. Morning, how was your night? Quiet but relieving. I thought things through. He closed his office door. About last night. Gabriel, she interrupted. I don't know exactly what I feel yet. Too much is happening. My illness, Emma, Derek's leaving, you. But for the first time in a while, I feel hope. I'm not rushing you, he said. There are ethical considerations we can't ignore. I know, she replied. That's why I'd like to request a new doctor. Gabriel froze, surprised. Michelle, I don't want you to feel forced into that. You're not forcing me. It's the right thing. If we're to explore what's between us, we need to remove the doctor-patient complication. She was right. Dr. Carter is one of our best oncologists, he said. She's my friend, and I know she'll care for you well. I trusted you with my life, Gabriel. I trust you to place me in good hands. In the following days, Gabriel stayed busy with patients, while Michelle was under Dr. Carter's care. They met occasionally in the hospital cafeteria, sometimes with Emma. Doctor, Gabriel! Emma shouted one day, running to him with a book. Look at my new book. Mama got it for me. Charlotte's Web, Gabriel said, smiling. One of my favorites as a kid. Really? Can you help me read it? If your mom agrees. Michelle smiled. I'm okay with it if we read together after my treatment. After his shift, Gabriel visited Michelle's room post-chemotherapy. She was weak, but smiled at him. Where's Emma? With her aunt in the cafeteria. I don't want her seeing me this tired. He sat by her bed, holding her hand. How's treatment? What did Dr. Carter say? Stable, not worsening but not improving much. We'll continue this protocol. It's tough. But don't lose hope. I'm not, Gabriel, especially now. Their eyes held a promise of a future, unclear but full of possibility. Over the next weeks, Gabriel became a regular part of Michelle and Emma's lives. Saturdays meant park or museum trips, giving Emma normalcy despite her mother's illness. Sometimes he invited them to his apartment for dinner, learning Michelle loved cooking traditional American dishes like meatloaf and apple pie. "Aren't you tired of us yet?" Michelle teased one night in his kitchen. "How could I be?" Gabriel replied, watching Emma draw at the dining table. "You two bring life to my monotonous world." "Gabriel," Michelle said, pausing her chopping, "I want you to know I'm not rushing this. Whatever we have, I want it to be real, not just gratitude." He took her hand. "I met you at your lowest. I saw your courage, your love for Emma. I don't love the idea of saving you. I love who you are." That night, watching Emma sleep in the guest room, they felt peace, a rare normalcy. On the balcony, gazing at Chicago's lights, Michelle asked, "How's work?" "Same as always. Patience, challenges, but easier now." "Why?" "Because of you. Knowing I come home to someone who cares for me, not just as a doctor." "Gabriel, I can't promise forever yet. I don't know if I'll recover." He stopped her. "I'm not asking for promises. I'm here, not as your doctor, but as someone ready to fight with you." Under the stars, they found hope for a future unseen, but believed in. "There was a lab error," Dr. Carter said, sitting in her office with Michelle and Gabriel. 3 months had passed since Gabriel and Michelle's relationship began. During that time, Michelle's condition had stabilized, with tests sometimes showing positive results. Her tumor had shrunk by 30%, a hopeful sign her body was responding. But now Dr. Carter looked concerned. "What do you mean, an error?" Gabriel asked, gripping Michelle's hand tightly. "I reviewed the original report and found inconsistencies," Dr. Carter replied. "We retested everything. The results came back this morning." She paused, struggling to continue. "And?" Michelle asked, her voice trembling. "The tumor didn't shrink. It grew." Michelle's world collapsed, months of hope shattered. "How much?" Gabriel asked, his doctor's mind racing. 15% from its original size, Dr. Carter said. "Not massive, but enough to show the current treatment isn't working." Silent tears fell as Gabriel held Michelle's hands. "Michelle, listen to me. This isn't over. We have other options." "He's right," Dr. Carter added. "The hospital has a new clinical trial for cases like yours. It's more aggressive, but we've seen promising results in some patients." "Side effects?" Michelle asked, wiping her tears. "Severe fatigue, infection risk due to a weakened immune system, and discomfort," Dr. Carter replied. "But it could be more effective." Gabriel and Michelle exchanged glances, fear and determination in their eyes. "I'll do it," Michelle said. "Whatever it takes." After the meeting, Gabriel walked her home, both lost in thought. "Gabriel," Michelle said at her apartment, "you can walk away. This isn't what you signed up for." "What do you mean?" Gabriel asked, stunned. "You thought you were getting a woman on the mend, a family to build. Now I don't know if I'll recover." "Michelle," Gabriel said, holding her shoulders, "I didn't enter this thinking you were already healed. I fell for you, your courage, your strength, your love for Emma. That doesn't change because of a test result." "But Gabriel, this is hard. It'll get harder. The new treatment, the side effects, the uncertainty. You don't have to endure this." "Michelle, listen," Gabriel said, looking into her eyes. "My whole life, I've worked as a doctor, watching patients fight. But I've never felt this. A love that makes every day worth it, no matter the hardship. I'm not leaving. I'm in this fight with you." Michelle took a deep breath and hugged him tightly. I don't know what I did to deserve you. You don't have to earn love, Michelle. I love you because you're you. In their embrace, she found the strength and certainty she needed. For the first time since the bad news, she felt ready to face the new challenge. The next day, Michelle began the clinical trial. The side effects were harsher: intense fatigue, loss of appetite, frequent dizziness. But Gabriel was there, supporting her, giving her strength. On tough nights, when pain kept her awake, he sat by her side, holding her hand, reading books, or listening to her stories about her childhood and paused dreams. You know, Michelle said one night, lying weakly in bed, I always wanted to write a novel about American women, their struggles, triumphs. Why didn't you? Gabriel asked, stroking her hair. No time. Teaching, raising Emma, now this illness. Michelle, sometimes the best stories come from the darkest moments, he said. You have a story to share with the world. She smiled, a mix of sadness and hope. Do you think I'll get the chance? Yes, and I'll support you every step of the way. Michelle requested a notebook and pen. Between treatments and rest, she began writing. Gabriel was by her side, sometimes reading her drafts, offering ideas, always encouraging. Emma, now close to Gabriel, started calling him Uncle Gab. They played or read together when Michelle slept. Uncle Gab, Emma asked one day, will Mama get better? Gabriel paused, unsure how to answer a simple question with profound implications. Emma, your mom's fighting hard. She's doing everything to get better. But will she? Gabriel looked into the child's wise eyes and chose honesty. I can't say for sure, Emma, but we're doing everything to help her, and no matter what, we're here for her, and each other. Emma nodded, grasping the situation despite her young age. Thanks for taking care of Mama. She's not always sad anymore. Gabriel's heart warmed at her observation. Emma, your mum makes me happy. You both bring light to my life. Uncle Gab, will you leave? Emma asked as he packed his things at Michelle's apartment. 5 months into the trial, he'd been living there to care for her. No, Emma, I'm just going to the hospital to get your mum's medicine and check on other patients, he said, ruffling her hair. Will you get ice cream on the way back? Emma asked, grinning. Emma, Michelle chided from her bed, don't take advantage of Uncle Gab. It's fine, Gabriel said, winking at Emma. Vanilla's still your favorite, right? Emma nodded, clapping in delight. Gabriel kissed Michelle's forehead. Need anything else? No, she said, her voice stronger than the previous week. Just take care of yourself at the hospital. You're working too hard. He smiled. You're worrying about me now? Over the months, much had changed. Gabriel moved into Michelle's apartment for easier care during her intense treatment. Her condition showed gradual improvement, small signs her body was responding. Emma has therapy this afternoon, Michelle reminded as he headed out. Since the test results, they'd enrolled Emma in child therapy to cope with her mother's condition, a suggestion from Gabriel based on his own childhood loss. I'll pick her up from school and take her to the session, he promised. Outside, Gabriel stopped at a nearby coffee shop. While in line, he spotted Derek Reynolds with an overdressed woman. Avoiding eye contact, he was too late. Derek approached. Dr. Sanders, Derek said, his tone mocking. Or should I call you Gabriel, the replacement? Derek, Gabriel replied calmly. This isn't the time or place for this. What, embarrassed? Scared your colleagues will find out about your patient? Gabriel sighed. I'm not hiding anything. My relationship with Michelle started after she switched doctors. So it's legal, huh? Derek laughed. I wonder why she picked you. Money, gratitude, she's too emotional. Gabriel's anger rose, but he held back. Derek, I don't want to fight, but let me clarify something. The woman you call too emotional is braver than most people I've met, including you. Brave? Derek scoffed. A woman who can't face life alone is brave? A woman fighting cancer, raising her daughter, and believing in life despite everything? Yes, that's bravery, Gabriel said, unable to hold back. And you, who left when they needed you, have no right to judge her or our relationship. Derek fell silent, visibly taken aback. If you've got nothing else to say, I have patience to see, Gabriel said, walking away. Derek called after him. You know she begged me to come back before you showed up? Gabriel didn't turn. The difference between us, Derek, is I don't need to tear someone down to feel better. I hope you find happiness, but don't come back to them. They don't need you. At the hospital, Gabriel focused on his patients and consulted Dr. Carter about Michelle. Gabriel, good news, she said, showing Michelle's latest results. Her body's responding. The tumor shrank by 5%. Only 5%? Gabriel asked, slightly discouraged. Gabriel, any improvement is a victory in cases like this. It shows the treatment's working. It could improve further. He nodded, grateful for the small hope. Thanks, Elena. I'm just so worried. I know, she said. It's not easy, being her doctor and… What? The man who loves her, Gabriel admitted. I see how serious you are, Gabriel, Dr. Carter said. As your friend, I'm happy for you. Thanks, Elena. I never thought I'd feel this way again after past relationships. That's why you're so protective, so scared of losing her, she said, understanding. I've known you for over 10 years. I've seen your heartbreaks, your guarded heart. But with Michelle, it's different. Before heading home, Gabriel visited Margaret Lee, a 7-year-old leukemia patient and one of his favorites, always smiling despite her condition. Doctor, Gabriel, she exclaimed, you came. Of course, he said, sitting by her bed. How are you feeling? Lots of pain, she said, still smiling. But Mom says I'm strong. She's right. You're the bravest kid I know. Talking to Margaret, Gabriel saw parallels with Emma, both fighting in a world of fear, yet still smiling. Back at Michelle's apartment, he found her at the dining table, playing with Emma. You're out of bed, he said, surprised but delighted. I have some strength today, she smiled. I wanted a normal dinner with you two. He hugged her gently. I ran into Derek earlier. Michelle froze, glancing at Emma. Emma, can you do your homework in your room? Uncle Gab and I need to talk. Once Emma left, Michelle asked, what happened? Where was he? At the coffee shop nearby, with a woman, Gabriel said. He was confrontational. What did he say? Nothing important, Gabriel replied, sparing her Derek's cruel words. But I want you to know, I'm not leaving your side. I know, Michelle said, taking his hand. You're nothing like Derek. Michelle, doctor. Carter had good news, Gabriel said, changing the subject. Your tumor shrank by 5%. Her eyes lit up. Really? Even just a little? Yes, it's a sign the treatment's working. That night, as Emma slept, they sat on the balcony, stargazing. Gabriel, Michelle said, I need to ask you something. If I don't make it, what about Emma? Gabriel froze, unprepared. Michelle, don't think that now. You're still fighting. I know, but as a mother, I have to consider everything. Derek can't be trusted to care for her if I'm gone. Gabriel took a deep breath, looking into her eyes. Michelle, I love Emma like my own. If the worst happens, I'm here for her. That's my promise. Tears of gratitude fell. Thank you, Gabriel. Michelle, I had a plan, he said hesitantly. No pressure, just think about it. After you recover, and I know you will, I want us to live together as a family. A new house, a fresh start for us three. Michelle smiled, full of hope and love. I'd love that, Gabriel. I'd love that so much. That night, despite the pain and fear, they found hope in each other, in the possibility of a future they believed in. I can't do this anymore, Michelle whispered, lying in her hospital bed, weak from a treatment session. 7 months into the trial, despite early progress, her condition worsened. The tumor grew again, her vitals unstable. Gabriel, always by her side, read medical journals at night, searching for options. Hearing her faint voice, he sat closer, holding her hand. Michelle, I know you're tired, but just hold on a little longer. I'm exhausted, Gabriel, she said, her eyes distant. The nausea, weakness, pain. And I see Emma scared. I don't understand why this is happening. Michelle, I'm scared too, she continued. Not of dying, but of missing Emma's life. Her first day of high school, graduation, love, family. Tears fell from Gabriel's eyes. He'd stayed strong for her, but now the weight hit him. The woman who brought light to his life might slip away. Michelle, listen, he said, wiping his tears. We're not done. There are more options. I don't want false hope, she replied. I see the results, the trends. I want to spend my time well, with you and Emma, not in a hospital. I won't let you give up, Gabriel said, gripping her hand. This isn't the end. The next day, over coffee with Dr. Carter, Gabriel proposed an experimental surgery. It's too risky in her condition, Dr. Carter warned, eyes wide. She's too weak. But it's the only way, Gabriel insisted. If we remove the tumor surgically and follow with aggressive targeted therapy, there's a chance. Gabriel, Dr. Carter said, touching his hand, I understand how you feel, but as doctors, we must be objective. The procedure has a 30% success rate. With a high risk, she won't survive the operation. What's the alternative? Sit and watch her fade? Gabriel asked, angry and frustrated. I'm not saying that, but we must consider her quality of life, Dr. Carter replied. Gabriel knew she was right, but couldn't accept doing nothing. That night, he explained the procedure to Michelle. I don't know, Gabriel, she said, after hearing the details. 30% chance, and if I don't survive the surgery itself, yes, it's risky, but there's still a chance, he said. I need to think, Michelle said. I need to talk to Emma. The next day, after a long talk with Emma, who understood despite her young age, Michelle decided. I'll do it, she told Gabriel, not just for me, but for Emma, for us. Gabriel spent 2 weeks coordinating the surgical team, ensuring every detail was perfect. During that time, he and Michelle grew even closer, cherishing every moment. You know, Michelle said one night as they watched a movie with Emma, this is the happiest time of my life. Despite everything? Gabriel asked, puzzled. Yes, I've felt true love, true support, how a person should be treated, how precious every moment is. Gabriel was moved by her realization. Despite pain and fear, she saw life's beauty, love's value. Before the surgery, he brought a small box to her bedside. What's that? She asked. I was going to save this until you recovered, he said. But I want you to see it now, to give you another reason to fight. He opened the box, revealing a simple but beautiful diamond ring. Michelle Reynolds, when you recover, I want you to be my wife, you, me, and Emma, a family. Tears streamed down her face as she touched the ring. Yes, Gabriel, yes, I want to be your wife, to live with you forever. They embraced, both crying, grateful for the moments they had. As orderlies took her to the operating room, Gabriel kissed her one last time. I love you, Michelle. I'll wait for you no matter what. I love you too, Gabriel, she replied, wiping her tears. Take care of Emma. In the waiting room, Gabriel sat with Emma for 8 agonizing hours. On the 9th, Dr. Carter emerged, exhausted. "Gabriel," she said. He stood, holding Emma's hand. "How is she?" "She's critical, in the ICU on a ventilator," Dr. Carter said. "We completed the surgery, removed most of the tumor, but there was internal bleeding we struggled to control. She lost a lot of blood." "What's her prognosis?" Gabriel asked, gripping Emma's hand. "We can't say yet," Dr. Carter replied. "The next 48 hours are critical. We'll monitor her vitals, watch for transfusion rejection, and check for infection." "Can we see her?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. Dr. Carter looked at the girl, unable to deny her simple request despite protocol. "Yes, Emma, but just for a moment. Your mom needs rest." Gabriel, as a doctor, understood the gravity. As a man in love, he felt overwhelming fear. In the ICU, Michelle lay surrounded by machines, pale and lifeless. "Mama," Emma called, touching her hand. No response came, only the steady beep of the heart monitor and the ventilator's mechanical hum. "Mama, Uncle Gab and I are here," Emma continued, her voice determined. "You said you'd fight." Gabriel closed his eyes, holding back tears, and hugged Emma from behind. "That's right, Emma. Your mum's fighting, and we'll support her." For 2 days, Gabriel stayed by Michelle's side. Emma visited occasionally with Michelle's sister. On the 3rd day, Michelle showed signs of improvement. Her eyes opened, tired, blurry, but alive. "Gabriel," she whispered as the ventilator was removed. "I'm here," he said, holding her hand. "I'm right here." "Where's Emma?" she asked weakly. "With your sister. She's okay, just worried about you." Michelle nodded, closing her eyes again. "I'm tired, Gabriel." "I know. But rest and get stronger. We removed most of the tumor. We have a chance now." Over the next weeks, Michelle slowly recovered from the surgery. Each day she gained strength, spoke longer, sat up alone. Gabriel guided her recovery, offering support. "Smile a bit more, Doc," she teased one day, noticing his serious face as he reviewed results. "Sorry," he said, forcing a smile. "Just preoccupied." "Bad results?" she asked, worried. "No, your recovery's great. No infection, good healing. But adjuvant therapy's next, and there could be residual cancer cells. It's a long road." "I know," she said, taking his hand. "I'm not expecting a miracle cure. But the difference now? I'm not scared anymore because I'm not alone. You and Emma are waiting for me. That's why I'll keep fighting, not out of fear, but because I'm excited to live with you." Gabriel was moved by her wisdom and courage. "Michelle," he said, "remember the ring I gave you?" "Of course," she replied, showing it on her finger. "I wear it as a reminder to fight." "I want to marry you, Michelle. Not after you're fully recovered, but now, here, with Emma and those we love." Michelle paused, surprised. "Gabriel, are you sure? Don't you want a bigger occasion? A traditional wedding?" "I'm sure. Marriage isn't about the ceremony. It's about the promise to stand by you, to care for you and Emma, no matter what. I want to make that promise now." Tears of joy fell. "Yes, Gabriel. Yes, I want to marry you now, to show the world you're the one I choose." 2 weeks later, in the hospital's small chapel, Michelle, in a wheelchair and simple white dress, married Gabriel, elegant in a suit. Emma, the flower girl, beamed. Dr. Carter and Michelle's sister were godparents, joined by patients like 7-year-old leukemia patient Margaret, bringing flowers. The priest spoke. "We see love's true meaning, not in grand events, but in the simple promise to stand by each other in sickness and health." Gabriel vowed, "I, Gabriel Sanders, take you, Michelle Reynolds, as my wife, promising to care for you and Emma in all times. Michelle replied, I, Michelle Reynolds, take you, Gabriel Sanders, as my husband, promising to love you and fight for our family, no matter what. Their kiss sealed a love that triumphed over pain, fear, and uncertainty. Uncle Gab, Emma said later, can I call you Papa now? Tears fell as he replied, nothing would make me happier. 2 years later, in the backyard of their new suburban Chicago home, Michelle sat under an oak tree, writing on her laptop. At 34, thinner but with shining eyes, she worked on her novel about a woman overcoming cancer and finding love. Mama, Emma, now 9, ran from the school bus. Perfect score in math. That's my girl, Michelle said, hugging her. Show Papa later. He'll be thrilled. Emma told her teacher her doctor dad helps her study, Michelle said, smiling. She's lucky. We both are, Michelle replied, stroking Emma's hair. Her novel, nearly complete, chronicled her journey. Recovery was tough. Adjuvant therapy, weak days, fearful nights. But Gabriel was there as husband, friend, and sometimes doctor. A year post-surgery, she got her first all clear. 6 months later, checkups stayed positive. They remained vigilant but began believing in miracles. Deep in thought again? Gabriel asked, bringing coffee. Our girl's smart, Michelle said, taking a cup. Like you. No, like you, he teased, sitting beside her. Almost done with your book? Last chapter, she said. I never thought I'd finish. I knew you would, he said. I saw your strength from the start. She set her laptop aside. When Derek left, I thought my world ended. Then cancer hit, and I was trapped in darkness. Now I see life's full of trials, but also love, healing, second chances. I didn't expect this either, Gabriel said. As a doctor, I saw tragedy, lost hope. You reminded me why I chose this path. To help, bring hope, see life's beauty. Derek called yesterday, Michelle said suddenly. He wants to see Emma, says he's changed. What did you say? We need to discuss it and ask Emma what she wants. You're right, Gabriel said. He's her father, and she deserves a chance to know him. I'll support your decision. That's why I love you, Michelle said. You know love isn't possession, it's freedom, respect, support. And a promise I'll never leave, he added. Under the oak, they saw how their trials shaped them. Gabriel, the doctor-turned-husband and father. Michelle, the woman who found strength in perseverance. Their story taught that sometimes you must face darkness to see light's true value, lose to find what matters, and confront fear to discover your bravest self. I love you, Michelle, Gabriel whispered, kissing her hand. I love you too, she replied, grateful for every heartbeat, every breath of life. In life's vast expanse, amidst endless possibilities, two people whose paths crossed through illness and tragedy found love and meaning. Their story showed that the true miracle lies not in healing the body, but in healing the heart, finding souls, and creating a family built not on blood or tradition, but on boundless love and respect. As Michelle looked at her novel's final line, a smile spread across her face. She saw that at every story's end, no matter how hard the journey, what matters most is who walks with you and how you're transformed by it. Thank you for listening to Michelle and Gabriel's story. May it inspire you and touch your hearts.